What's going on, friends? Welcome back to the Honeystead. If you are new here, my name is Kaylee. I am a herbalist, I'm a beekeeper, I'm a modern day homesteader, homemaker. I do a good bit here on my homestead for myself and for my family, as well as some of our friends and loved ones. But today, I wanted to take you and kind of show you what's growing in our beautiful medicinal garden. So come on, let's go take a peek at some of these herbs. One of our little honeybees, or a honeybee, I don't know if it's actually ours because you can't tag a honeybee. They're the most feral livestock that you can have. But it looks like some of the honeybees are enjoying the sorrel from all the pollen that's blooming. Now we grow a good bit of sorrel. You can eat it. This is what a young leaf looks like. It's a little sprinkly, so well, hopefully we're gonna bypass this storm. But this is sorrel, and I like to actually grow it in the garden, kind of like a cover crop in our beds. It helps keep a lot of the moisture in the raised beds, and it also blooms and produces an abundance of pollen. If I were to shake this right now, there would just be a whole cloud of pollen, but I don't want to because one of our beautiful little honeybees is over there enjoying it. But when you take the leaves, I really like this as a springtime edible. It has a very cooling, almost sour lime flavor. So if you want to create a dish that has like a palate that needs that little extra kick of a limey, fresh green flavor, that would be added very well into it. So I actually really like to add some sorrel into our salads, just to give it that extra fresh kick. But this is beautiful, seeing this honeybee. Then I also have a good bit of comfrey growing. Now, I actually planted these comfrey from seed, but you can also get the rhizome, the actual root and plant. I put a link of a source down below, so if anyone is still looking for comfrey root as well as elderberry trees, I will put that information down below if you are interested, because I know a lot of people were really excited to obtain the source. But comfrey is definitely one of my favorite herbs for its medicinal properties, especially externally in a salve or even as a poultice. But I will be talking more about comfrey as well as some of our other medicinal plants. Jill from Whispering Willow Farm and I are actually putting together our very first herbal first aid course, which is going to be an ebook, but then we're also going to be advertising a webinar where we're going to let people come in, we're going to do our presentation, and then we're going to have that Q&A section, which is going to be very, very helpful. If you're interested in signing up for that webinar, it's actually available today, which is going to be possibly a perfect opportunity for a early Mother's Day gift if you are looking to buy somebody a Mother's Day present. But the webinar is actually going to be on May 26th, and I will have all that information down below with everything that we're going to be covering. Our thoughts are we're actually going to set up an herbal first aid kit for your home. For the woods, because y'all know who I am and I like to go out into the woods, and I very much have my herbal first aid kit on hand for any event of my wild shenanigans out foraging. But then we're also going to set one up for on the go, which I think is really convenient, especially because I personally just experienced a trip that my daughter and I went on. Long story short, the herbs came to the rescue, and yeah, I can't wait to share more about that. So all that information is going to be down below. If you are interested, go ahead and claim your spot and sign up. We've got some puppies on the other side of this bed that are playing. So let's go talk about a few more medicinal herbs that we've got growing. Now, what you're going to find out about myself is I really like the full lush look of herbs in raised beds, and just completely like random, like a whole diverse little system of plants that really complement each other in appearance, especially when they come into bloom. But then also bear in mind, like some plants don't require a whole lot of watering, like your lavender or your rosemary. So I'm not necessarily going to put those plants next to plants that do require a good bit of watering, similar to your marshmallow, your marshmallow plant, or for the root is what we're going to be going after. Now I have a whole lot of videos out on the marshmallow root and how we actually use it, and I'll show you some of the plants that I have growing. But right here I've got some echinacea. Now this is going to be beautiful and it's going to have a really rich, stunning flower. And then beside it I have some hyssop. Now we use hyssop medicinally for upset stomachs, but also because, you know, the blooms are just, they're so beautiful when you're up here in the garden. And then of course experiencing the hum of all the pollinators. So but hyssop, I'm just now starting to see like little itty bitty purple flowers that are starting, but not quite yet. We're probably going to get a sneak attack from the turkey. I let him out, which means that he just has to be right beside me. So I hear him. I hear him coming. I had some people ask if he's wild. No, he's a heritage breed, bronze-breasted turkey. I am looking for some females, and I think I might have found one, but we'll see. But he needs some dates. Now this lovely plant that I have growing all throughout here, this is known as wormwood. You can use wormwood as an anti-parasitic. You can use it to help fight against fungus and viruses as well. I think it's a lovely plant. It grows beautifully in the garden, and it just gives that really awesome contrast in colors. All of these plants that I've kind of talked about, and the ones that I'm going to continue to talk about, I do want you to do your own research. It is your responsibility as your own herbalist to understand if this herb is right for you or might not be. That would be looking at the contraindications of the plants and understanding if this plant is right for you. Now this plant right here is known as marshmallow. In the olden days, this is actually, they used the root of this plant to create marshmallows because of the mucilage that it offers. Now I've definitely put out many videos about marshmallow root and how to make a cold infusion. You can use the leaves as well as the root. They're very soft and velvety. Very, very soft and velvety. They're gonna produce some beautiful flowers, and this plant's actually in the hollyhock family, so very similar. And as a substitute, if you don't have marshmallow and you have hollyhock, you could use the root kind of the same way, mainly because of the mucilage and that demulcent action that it offers. But I've got a good bit growing. Some are babies, some are bigger. This one has a little ladybug kind of hanging out on it somewhere. I don't know if you can see. There it is. And then I have some more over there. I'm also planning on actually planting a good bit down by our creek area, mainly because this plant really does thrive in kind of a watery area. So for me, I think it would be a lot easier than having to water up here. So yeah. Very soft, very fuzzy, and I can't wait for the flowers to pop up. Oh, all the passion flowers starting. This is going to be what grows up and over this archway that gives me that beautiful fortress passion flower archway. So I went ahead and pulled up a good bit of the passion flower that's kind of the unruly ones that are growing a little bit out of the bed that I don't necessarily want covered, and I'm gonna actually try to root them and then plant them over in the archway above where my apiary is, so that we can have passion flower growing there. So I will let you know how it does. It looks like there's a good bit more that I can end up pulling, which I plan on doing a good bit, and then hopefully gifting some of these babies. Seriously. I just kicked the turkey out of the garden, but he's coming back. Tom, go on. He loves me. Now, one thing that I like to do to help with plant identification, especially when people get to come into the garden for some of our workshops, which we do have 2 workshops coming up. I've got a tea blending workshop where my goal is to be blending up some beautiful teas out here in the garden area, and then we also have a really larger workshop that is in July, which is going to be like the living apothecary workshop. That's where people get to come into my garden and harvest and set up their tinctures, basically set up their home apothecary from my garden. And I'm going to have a lot more echinacea growing here, which is going to be beautiful. And this is my massive Valyrian. Now this plant, I've actually had it, the same plant, the same root system growing now for, I think, over 2 years. And it has dropped babies. Seriously, turkey, come on. I have Valyrian babies dropped all around this bed, which I'm excited to see it come. But it is just, it's getting bigger and bigger. Now Valyrian smells amazing when it's in flower form. The root itself, oh, hold on, let me adjust myself. The root itself is actually what I use. Now I still have some Valyrian root in whole form, so that's why I haven't harvested. This is more valuable for me to be able to teach people what the actual plant looks like, and then of course allow for that regenerative aspect and having Valyrian babies all around. The root itself is what we actually use for helping if you need to truly quiet the mind. If you are an insomnia, wide awake type of person, this plant right here will knock you out. I use it in a few different ways. If I put it in a tea, my house smells like stinky feet, so that's not exactly my favorite way. Just adding a good bit of chamomile to help cover up that stinky feet flavor and smell, but I've actually found that I prefer to use it as a tincture form. The tincture, for some reason, it just tastes a lot sweeter that way, and then obviously it's just easy. So what I'll do is I'll brew up a cup of tea with my chamomile, my passion flower, which is also a sedative herb. You got the chamomile, which is a nervine, and then if I really want to just like night ender, drop a dropper full of my Valyrian root tincture into my nighttime tea, and then I'm out. But I had to show this beautiful plant to you all. She's stunning. So the turkey's behind me right now, I just know it. Ah! I just realized that maybe the phrase Peeping Tom came from somebody having a turkey. Because wherever I am, he's right there. Even if I'm inside my house, he's like looking at me through the window. Yeah. That's his name, Peeping Tom. That's what we're gonna call him from now on. It's starting to get a little bit hot. Now you guys are in the larger part of my garden space. This is where I do more mass production of herbs, not just for my apothecary, but then, like I said, to invite people out to be able to harvest. I have a lot of herbs that I'm growing out here, and then I still actually have a good bit more that I'm in the process of planting. But behind me is one of my favorites. This is Motherwort. Now Motherwort is an herb that we use. It's a little bitter in a tea form, but you can absolutely put it in a tea form. Tincture might be a little bit better, but it is a very good herb for your cardiovascular health, for your heart health. And the one thing that I was taught about Motherwort when I went to herbal school was that everybody could use a little bit of mother, and how just calming and supportive it is to your heart. So we have a good bit growing here. I also have some horehound. I also have feverfew, catmint, lemon balm, chamomile, more hyssop, lots of calendula. We've got some ashwagandha growing. I've got a lot, and I think what we're gonna do is just break this into the next video, so you can kind of get a part 2, or else this video would probably be a good solid 2 hours, 2 hour long. And the sun is starting to come down and beat pretty hard on me, and I've got a little bit of work that I have to get done. But yeah, I wanted to take you and show you just some of the things that are growing, and talk more about herbalism. Now, if you guys are interested in learning more about herbalism and how to set up your own home apothecary to be your own herbalist, there is a course that Jill and I put together. I will put that link down below. You can get the bundle package or just the course. The bundle package comes with all the recipes as well. Now, the course does have a lot of recipes, but the one thing about the bundle package is that it gives you a complete growing guide to how to grow all of these herbs, or at least a good bit of them. So yeah, as always, don't be afraid to get your hands dirty and learn something old. Bye, guys.